this next speaker, I'm really excited to have to come up on stage. He has just an incredible track record in the world of building products on the consumer web. He actually spends most of his time thinking about how marketers can get the most out of the consumer web and now the most out of LinkedIn. And he spent time leading product teams at companies like Google, Groupon. We won't ding him for the Groupon thing. I think he's spent time in the venture capital world, in residence at Greylock. And I actually found out over breakfast this morning that he likes his eggs scrambled. Please welcome to the stage VP of Product, David Thacker.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here at FinanceConnect. This is my first FinanceConnect. And I'm based in our Silicon Valley office, which is where our advertising product R&D team is with LinkedIn. And there's a saying about living in Northern California that over time it makes you really soft. And I learned that this morning. Like some of the other presenters this morning, I tried to walk from my hotel to the venue here. And unlike Mohammed, who made it 8 blocks, I made it about 1 block and then decided to jump in a taxi because I just couldn't handle it. So anyway, today I'm going to talk about trust. And this is a quote that is from the poet John Harold Hewitt. It's a nice quote. But trust is important to any relationship. And as marketers, you know trust is really important in establishing a relationship between your brand and between a consumer or between a customer. In terms of our product system, we think we can help you build trust with your customers through all the products we built at LinkedIn. I'm going to take you through some of that. Now, one of the biggest challenges today is on the internet and the social media, trust can erode in an instant. So consumers are empowered to surface their voice in any conversation, anywhere, at any time. And I'm sure you've all seen examples of where a customer customer service lapse has turned into a social media viral video or viral tweet where a vocal consumer has expressed outrage, and that can really tarnish a brand's image. But despite that, we think social media can be a great place to establish and nurture trust and trusted relationships with your customers. And I want to tell you about 3 ways to do that. The first is humanizing your brand, and this is getting your employees to engage in the conversation. The second is sharing relevant content, and we think by sharing relevant content, you can build and nurture relationships with your customers. And the third is to be everywhere your customers are, to make sure you're always engaging in the conversation. So let's walk through these. In terms of humanizing your brand, it can really start with your leadership team, right? And getting them to be the voice of your company. And this is part of the reason we created the influencer program, which you've heard about some this morning, and many of you are familiar with. This slide depicts a number of people that are influencers on the LinkedIn platform. It's been one of the product launches that's been most well received by our members. We've seen great engagement. People love this content. We have all kinds of different types of people writing influencer content, from C-level executives at various companies to politicians to thought leaders. And just to take you through some examples of how the financial services industry has leveraged the influencer program, here's an example where the CEO of Charles Schwab actually wrote an article about trust, an influencer post about trust, and how it's so important for the financial service industry, especially following the financial collapse of 2008. Your customers are trusting you with their savings, with their mortgages, with their retirement, right? And so trust is an integral part of that. We've seen other examples like Mohammed, who was on this stage earlier today, wrote a great post about a policy post about extending unemployed benefits and how that's good policy. And this generated a lot of great commentary. And then another example is Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan, wrote an article about life-saving impact of financial institutions. So JP Morgan's created a financial vehicle to allow investors to invest in innovations and companies that are creating innovations that are saving lives around the world, especially in developing countries. And so, as you heard from Mohammed this morning, his influencer posts on LinkedIn generate great commentary. And there's a reason for this. I think people are using their professional identities on LinkedIn. They want to look smart in front of their network, right? And so they're very thoughtful about the type of commentary they put into these posts. And it's generated some great discussions. Now, another way you can leverage the LinkedIn platform is through our groups product. And this is an example of where HSBC has created a group to generate discussion about international trade. And it's really geared towards companies that are looking to expand internationally and do international business. And so this is a place now, the HSBC Global Connections Group, where our members can find other members with like-minded interests. They can share lessons, they can discuss, they can learn. but ultimately they make themselves better professionals, and they can really help their businesses grow from the content that's there. So again, this is another place where we've seen great discussion and great commentary. The second important point is, we think it's really key to share relevant content through social media. And all of you should be familiar with our company pages, which is the way a brand creates their anchor presence or its anchor property for a brand on LinkedIn. So if you haven't looked at your company page on LinkedIn, I would highly encourage you to do so, because that's really the representation on LinkedIn to our members of your brand. Over the last year, we've spent a lot of time and effort developing new product innovations about this, so I'll talk about some of those things. The first is Showcase Pages. We launched this in November, and this is an extension of company pages. It lets you showcase or highlight some aspect of your brand, whether it's a product or an initiative or a subsidiary for your brand. And it really lets you target the audience for that initiative. Many of your companies spanned many lines of global business, and you can create a dedicated property to highlight and showcase one aspect of that. We also let you create and post content and share content. So many of you are familiar with our company status updates. We've extended that to Showcase Pages. So you can take any of the great content you've created and you can share that with a targeted audience on LinkedIn. You can also sponsor that. And this is the content that shows up in our feed. So this gets prime real estate. And this is really a marketing product, the sponsored updates that are showcased on mobile, showcased on desktop. They appear right in the feed. We've seen great engagement with these. And when we launched the sponsored updates product about 6 months ago, we were trying to decide whether we should include social proof in this. And we went back and forth on this because it's not typical for advertising products to have social proof. We decided to go with it, and I think it was a great decision for a number of reasons. One, it's people are really engaging with this content, from liking, commenting to sharing. And what that does is it really amplifies the message. And you'll see this. If someone likes or comments on a sponsored update, it'll share it across their network. So now it's got even more visibility. And the reason people comment and share and like on LinkedIn is maybe different from other social properties. Again, because this is a professional network, people want to look really smart in front of their coworkers, in front of their network. And so they're very thoughtful about the commentary, and they're very thoughtful about the types of content they share. So in terms of relevant content, it's very important to create high quality content. And this is one of the things we see. The highest quality content gets the most social distribution from our members, right? And also that drives the most engagement. So I'd encourage you, as you think through your content strategy, to not just focus on the raw volume of content you're creating, but the quality as well, because quality is definitely more important. So there's a lot of content on LinkedIn's platform, and one of the things we want to do, you as marketers, is help you decide what's really important and what your audience is talking about. So this is a new tool and a product we're working on, we're going to be piloting soon. It's called Trending Content. And what it lets you do is you can see within a defined audience demographic what types of topics are trending over time in that audience demographic. And you can also see example articles. So this is all being driven by the activity on LinkedIn. And it's not just in the content you're sharing, it's all the content across LinkedIn. So here's some examples. You could see in this example, this audience, real estate's a trending topic, and we even cite specific articles. So this really gives you insight into what's relevant and what's really resonating and engaging the member base. And you can use that to influence your own content strategies. So later today, you're going to hear more about this tool. So I've been working on relevant systems and algorithms for about the last 10 years of my career, and it's incredibly important. And one of the things that's most exciting about LinkedIn is we have a very powerful targeting platform for professionals. We think we have the best professional targeting on the planet, just due to their comprehensiveness, but also the depth and the accuracy of the information. So to give you an example here, I think 5 or 6 years ago, if you were to look at LinkedIn, most people talked about LinkedIn as an online resume. So when people thought about an online resume, they thought, when I'm looking for a job, that's when I'll go update my LinkedIn profile. So I remember back when I was working at Google 5 or 6 years ago, you'd always know if someone was looking for a job outside of Google because you'd get notifications that they've updated their LinkedIn profile, right? So it was a signal to their network. But now people update their LinkedIn profile all the time, right? If they change jobs, if they're promoted at work, if they earn a new degree, if they achieve some accomplishment at work, one of the first things they do is they go to their LinkedIn profile to update that. So we've transitioned from an online resume to today where we are, which is people's professional identity on the web. And that's really powerful because we have a great volume of information about all our members, but it's incredibly accurate and up to date. So as you think about your content strategy, you can be very precise in the people you want to target on LinkedIn, powered by our data. The third takeaway here is I want to talk about going where your audiences go. And this is really a mobile story. Now, mobile has been the biggest disruption to the internet in the last 5 years. And that's certainly true for most internet companies, including LinkedIn. So as we reported recently, we now have 41% of our visits coming through mobile devices. Just 18 months ago, we were about 20%, so it's growing very quickly. It's growing faster than our desktop growth. So at some point, we will reach our mobile moment, which when we have more mobile usage than we have desktop usage. And we've invested a lot in our mobile products to take advantage of this. So early last year, we launched a completely redesigned mobile app. Then late last year, we redesigned our iPad app. And we really went, from a product perspective, we did a grounds-up overhaul for these products, right? We started with a new experience. We simply just didn't port the desktop experience to the mobile device. We really thought about the simplicity of the use case and the differences in the form factor with mobile. So when you use our mobile apps, you'll see that it's really about content consumption. So we see more content consumption on mobile than we do on desktop now, right? The feed is very, very front and center on mobile. And we see different patterns of engagement. So I wanted to share some of that with you on this next slide. And I think this is a really fascinating graphic which shows you on a typical day what LinkedIn's traffic looks like, broken down by app, or whether it's a phone, desktop, or laptop, and a tablet usage. So a couple things to highlight here. Early in the day, you'll see there's a spike just before 6 a.m. from phone and tablet usage. And that's coming from people getting out of bed, grabbing their phone or their tablet with their cup of coffee, and starting to catch up on their day. Then you can see desktop usage surges in the late morning as people get to work, and it stays steady throughout the day until it starts falling off at the end of the workday. But what's really remarkable here is smartphone usage is always on. So smartphone usage picks up during the day and stays very steady throughout the day. There's no drop-off. People, professionals, they have their phones with them when they're at their desk, when they go to meetings, when they're walking between meetings, when they're in the cafeteria. I've even heard some people take their phone to the bathroom. I don't know if that's true or not, but the usage is always on. And then I think the other fascinating aspect of this is tablet usage. You can see that surges in the evening and at night. And I call this the couch potato effect. That's when people are at the end of a long day on their couch, in front of the TV or the fireplace, unwinding, catching up on the day, and relaxing. And that's when the tablet usage is the greatest. So really, you need to be on mobile all the time is the point here. So I wanted to wrap up by just spending a little time talking about how we're working to make our products much more effective. And our product team for our marketing solutions products, we spent some time thinking about a mission for our team. And what we came up with is we wanted to be the most effective marketing platform for marketers to engage with professionals. That's our goal. And ROI is a big component of that. So my team, we have a dedicated sub-team that focuses just on advertiser ROI. And some of the things that we're doing to improve ROI, this is a teaser for something you'll hear about later today, but we've developed something called the Content Marketing Score. And what that is a quantitative score that lets you measure the engagement and the effectiveness of the engagement and the influence with your desired audience on LinkedIn. Right? And we think this is going to be really powerful. We'll also provide benchmarking, so you can see with a peer set of companies, how am I doing against these other companies? And finally, we'll provide recommendations, right? Recommendations to help you increase this score, to drive more influence and more engagement with these professionals. So during the session later today, we're going to go into depth in this product, but we think this is really exciting. And in terms of our product focus for this year, we're focused on 4 key areas, and I'll talk a bit about each of these. The first is extending our targeting capabilities. So we think our data is very powerful, but we're at just the beginning. So some of the things we'll be working on this year, we're going to be working on retargeting so that you can target our members that have been previously engaged with some of your content, right, to get back in front of them and to extend your message. We're going to be working on developing lookalike modeling, which allows you to, given a set of your customers or potential customers, we can expand out and find other members based on our algorithms and machine learning models that we think would also be very good customers for your products. So look for that later this year. In terms of personalization, there's nothing on the internet that can drive more increases in performance than personalization. And we want all aspects of our LinkedIn member experience to be personalized. So when you log into LinkedIn, or when you come to our homepage or our mobile app, the entire experience, everything you see is personalized based on who you are and who's in your network. We want to extend that to our marketing products as well. The marketing message should be personalized based on the recipient. It'll drive much more effectiveness. So we're working on tools to extend this across our entire marketing products ecosystem. The third item here is lead capture. And a number of you run campaigns to generate leads, whether it's from consumers or for businesses. And we think that this has probably the most potential to be disrupted. If you look at traditional lead generation, it really hasn't evolved that much over the last 5 to 10 years. People are still throwing forms out there, driving ads to people to forms to complete. But when you look at the mobile use case especially and how traffic has shifted to mobile, it's very hard to fill out a mortgage lead form on a mobile device with 10 fields or 15 fields. It just doesn't work. So we want to streamline that experience, which is a great improvement for our member experience, but also will drive improvements in ROI. So we want our members to be able to express interest in a product or service from a brand and do it very simply in 1 click or 2 clicks from their mobile device, from their tablet, or from the desktop computer. So look for improvements there. And then finally, attribution is very important. We want to let you know how your spend is driving engagement on LinkedIn from your customers and prospective customers. So we'll be developing things like the content marketing score, which I showed you in the last slide, but look for other innovations in this space. So to summarize here, I think we're very excited about where the industry is going. I've worked in advertising products online for 10 to 15 years now, and I've never seen the pace of innovation as rapid as it is now. I think content marketing is at just the beginning stages, and so we look forward to working with you to help you achieve your marketing objectives. Thank you.